Welcome to the Art of Consulting podcast with Andy Fry and Kat Lamb. We are seasoned IT consultants, CPAs, and professional development connoisseurs. Each episode, we bring you an inspiring message to help you discover that X factor as a professional in your field so that you can gain the success that you know you deserve in your career and in your life.
Hi, everybody. Today, I just wanted to talk about self-improvement and some of the things that we need to be aware of when we're trying to improve ourselves. So most of us are here. Most of us are trying to get better at the things that we want so that we can achieve our goals. But the self-improvement, a few things are going to happen when you're working on self-improvement. And that is you're going to have a couple of challenges that pop up while you're doing it. And one analogy I give is, let's say somebody has a bad back and they go to a doctor or a chiropractor and they get that back adjusted. So they get it realigned. So the back is now realigned. But there's a few things that will happen with that. The first one is that the back will want to slide back to its previous state. Much of it is because the back, that's what the back knew. It knew where to go. So people who have had, joints or backs or different body parts that had to be realigned, you're always aware of the fact that you got to take it gentle. You got to be careful because that body part was going to want to slide back to where it once was, even if it harms the person. The body part wants to feels comfortable there. So one of the things that happens in real life is the same thing. As we're improving ourselves and as we're working on ourselves, we end up wanting to slide back to where we previously were. And we see this actually throughout life. It isn't just self-improvement. We see this actually as we develop skills, that we want to slide back to where we were. So be aware of that the tendency sometimes is to give up, go back to what is comfortable, what we're used to, and give up on the things that we want to work on. This also is sometimes we'll want to change what we're doing. So something starts to work and then we start to change it. So again, the back feels good, right? And then we start to sleep different, sit different, do different things that are actually harming it. So it's the same thing we do in life. We often see this in sports or athletics. If a golfer, once they start hitting the ball straight, they start to do something different. And our lives are the same way. Once we start to get some success, sometimes we start to deviate from what was successful. The second thing is that the people around us are also kind of pulling us back. If they're not going through the same self-improvement that we are, then what happens is they will often tug us back. Some of it is like they're not even aware of it. Sometimes the behavior is I'm going to use the word dysfunctional, but dysfunctional is kind of a strong word. But the habits and routines aren't lending themselves to you and your self-improvement. So be aware of that. The other thing is that some people will sabotage it, right? Again, we see this often where a parent goes back to school and they start taking night classes. The kids get sick. The kids don't want to eat the food that the other parent is eating, or they start to have troubles in school or whatever it is. They start to actually somewhat sabotage, knowingly or unknowingly, they'll sabotage what's going on to bring it back to what's normal. And again, this is a normal routine. This is something that's going to happen. This is one reason why people who are going through big changes in life, let's say they're trying to lose weight, especially somebody who's really from a health perspective, they need to lose weight or become more fit. Everybody in the household needs to participate. You can't have somebody sitting on the couch eating chips and drinking pop when somebody else is trying to be healthy and eat right, and or somebody's trying to get more sleep and people are having a party or playing loud music. We need everybody on board. So the one thing is to understand that people are going to pull us back. The analogy with this one is, we use the body parts as an example. You've aligned your back, but now your hip is hurting, or your shoulder's hurting, or something else is hurting that wants to kind of adjust that back and get back to where it once was. The other analogy that people always use is a bucket of crabs, right? The one crab is crawling up the side of the bucket to try to get out, and the other ones are pulling it back in. So they want to maintain that status quo. Is that actually what's happening? I don't know. I don't know how intelligent a crab is, but the fact is, it's a pretty good analogy when you think of it, that you realize, yeah, people are going to pull you back, when anybody's trying to improve or do something new. The last thing to be aware of is the universe maybe testing us. We see this very, very often where when you're trying to do something like, become more zen and more calm, that's the day when people are cutting you off in traffic. Somebody messed up at Starbucks when you were getting your coffee. Something breaks, somebody bumps into your car, some checks didn't clear from your bank and they should have. All of these come to a head. The universe is also testing us to say, hey, have you really learned the lesson you need to learn to put this in place? And so just understand that that's going to happen. And it goes for every area of your life. Just understanding that that's going to happen. And as consultants, as we're trying to improve, it might be something happening at the client site, right? That is causing us now to take a big step back or revert back to the skills that we previously had. Maybe you're learning a bunch of new management skills and now you've got to go back and do a bunch of data entry or, something that's you think is low level type stuff. Accept the fact that, we're human beings. One thing that, we need to realize is we're not perfect. We're going to have things that, set us back a little bit, the things that cause us to kind of bump back. That's just life. We're mere mortals. I remind myself that every single day because I realize I'm a human being. I'm going to make mistakes. Some mistakes are going to be big mistakes. Some are mistakes that, I'm not going to say can't be recovered, but they're going to leave long-lasting scars. Other ones are not that big of a deal. You need to just move on, accept that you're a human being, and, forgive, correct it, move on. With our improvement, I just want to touch after those three things is that most people think that improvement is we see an ascending line. So if we were to graph our improvement, we would go from a very low level on a graph, ascending, meaning moving up, where our skills constantly improve, right? We see this kind of trend where it goes up and it keeps going up. That's not the case. Most times it goes up, it plateaus, it spikes up, it spikes down. There's a lot of different paths it takes for us to improve. And if you think of how your career or your life or different things that occurred for you happened, it didn't go with a gradual improvement. And in fact, anybody who does any form of analysis, if you see a graph that is a constant graph up, something's wrong. Something is probably not correct because nothing moves in that format. Nothing goes perfectly up. Things plateau, they move down, they go up, they're kind of herky-jerky all the way along if we were to graph progress. So one thing to realize is that we're going to have some minor setbacks. What we want to avoid is the major setbacks. We don't want to do something, if we use that back example, that puts us into traction or something that we can't move because we've done something crazy. We want to be responsible. Small setbacks are one thing. Big setbacks are things we want to avoid. And that's really with self-improvement. It's the same thing. We want to, we want to move up. We want to improve. We want to, constantly be getting to where we want to go. But understand there's going to be setbacks. So again, the three things that, there might be more, but the three things that I'm always aware of is, we want to slide back to old habits. Other one is people around us want to pull us back. The environment we're in wants to pull us back to what is normal and what is routine. And the third one is the universe is going to be testing us. Going to make sure that we've really hammered home those skills and what we've learned so that we can apply that. And once we pass that universe test, we're usually through. We usually can move on to the next test. And often we forget that because if we go back and review what happened in our lives, many times when we make those, what we feel is a quantum leap forward, it's usually once we pass that universe test, we don't have to go back and relearn things unless we purposely set back and again, accept those bad habits. So just remember those three things, keep improving. Kat and I are going to have a online communication course that we're going to run on September 17th. We encourage everybody to go. That'll be on our Facebook group page. So see us there. Again, just keep improving. We're here for you, and just keep adding to your toolbox. And remember, we're all just trying to make our way in the world and improve. And just keep working hard and being awesome. Thanks for joining us on today's show. If you like what you heard and are interested in seeing if you'd be a great fit to work with Kat and myself, then head on over to artofconsultingpodcast.com/call. That's artofconsultingpodcast.com/call and book an appointment to speak with us. We'll talk with you for about 45 minutes and we'll get you clear on 3 things: putting together a solid game plan to start as an independent IT consultant, getting complete control over your career and time, and commanding the salary that you always wanted. Remember, developing and building a great consulting business does not happen by itself. You need an expert advice and guidance to make it happen. And we're 20+ year veterans in the independent IT space while enjoying life and delivering unparalleled service to our clients. To see if we can help you do the same, head on over to artofconsultingpodcast.com/call. I'm Andy Fry.
I'm Kat Lamb.
And let's talk soon.